Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a E-Verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to Cloud Test Lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Okay. Generally, in a real time, right, we need some kind of communication, right? It could be between two persons, it could be between different software systems, or it could be between different servers, right? The Java messaging specification has some kind of an API or the specification that is provided to send and receive messages. What is a message? A message could be any kind of information, right? So when we take any example that we use in real-time Java world is the web services, right? The client or the consumer actually sends a message. We have seen the SOAP visual-based web services, right? So we send a SOAP message to the web service, right? There, the message is a SOAP message, and what is the medium? What is the medium over there? It's through internet or over the network, right? So the internet is the medium, and the SOAP message that we send is the message over there, right? And in communication patterns, or the different ways of communication, right? We have synchronous communication and asynchronous communication. In synchronous communication, the application, right, actually sends the request and it waits until it gets the response back. In synchronous communication, the app waits for the response. It sends a request and it does nothing till it gets a response back. So in that sort of communication, the service has to be available exactly at the same time whenever the client is seeking some service. It's similar to a phone conversation, right? Whenever we talk something, we wait for the other person to respond back. Right? A perfect example is in web service. Let's say it talks with DB and responds with a XML content, or it responds with a JSON or anything, all in one code. So whenever we send a request, the web service actually the client waits for the response to get back. This comes under the synchronous communication. The communication happens synchronously. We send a request, we wait for it, or the application, it sends a request, it waits for the response, and it blocks itself until the request is processed and the response comes back. Unlike synchronous, we have other kind of a communication, which is called as the asynchronous communication. In asynchronous communication, the client, or in general, it could be an app, it sends the request and it proceeds with a normal operation. It doesn't wait for the response. And the service request may not be available at the same time. we are just sending a request, it could queue it up, right? As in a request, I'm not waiting for the response right away. I just do my own activity. Whenever I get back the response, I try to analyze it or try to read it or do something with it. But before that, I'm proceeding with my own task. There are some services which we invoke them asynchronously. Meaning we just invoke them. We are not bothered about the response. Or we don't wait for it, or we doesn't care about the response sometimes. Right? Like we text our friends. Right? We send an email. All this comes under the asynchronous communications, wherein the request is sent and the system doesn't wait for the response. And folks, either the sending and receiving applications need not be on the same platform. That's what matters. That's the case with web services, right? It could be hosted anywhere on, using any implementation, or it could be deployed on any server. Doesn't matter. If you see this picture here, folks, you have a sender and a receiver, right? In asynchronous communication, you see there is a queue that is maintained. They are just queued up. It's not that as soon as A sends a request, it just waits for the response. No. It just sends, it could send, and all the requests could just queued up, and it might get a bulk acknowledgement at a time as well. Right? Usually, whenever we have an application, a JSP, right? Whenever we submit a form, right? Whenever I add something and then say submit, what is exactly done over there? Is it synchronous or asynchronous, folks? Let's say in a JSP page, we're viewing a JSP page on a browser, and there's a form, we enter some data, and then we submit, right? Do we do it synchronously or asynchronously?
I think this is synchronous, right?
Yes, it is synchronous because we want it to process it and get the response back. It is synchronous communication.
Okay.
So, JMS is a specification, folks, and there are multiple kinds of vendors that provide the Java messaging services for us in market, right? So, what is the importance of asynchronous messaging, right? So, the messaging enables loose coupling. It's not tied or wait for the response, right? The request can just queue up, and the destination or the receiver can receive the message at any time, right? They don't need to be available or up. Both the systems, they don't need to be up at the same time for the communication, right? And the sender doesn't need to know about it, or it doesn't bother about it. The very primary thing is they don't need to be up and running at the same time in order to communicate. That's important about the asynchronous message. The request or whatever is sent, they just queued up and they get processed at a later stage. There will be a queue that, when we discuss the core Java collection, we say queue is something which stores prior to processing, right? So here, what internally used is a queue. I mean, this queue is not a collection. We have queues and topics, and we see the, differences. So as I mentioned, yes, someone is asking something?
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes, Manoj.
You said JSP page, you said before, it's asynchronous. Why then Ajax is called as asynchronous? I mean, it might be out of...
No. See, we call it as asynchronous because we send a request, the page doesn't wait for it. The page doesn't wait for something. Whenever you send an Ajax request, it doesn't block you from doing anything. Whenever it gets a response back, it loads the specific data, whichever you're trying to re-render. But it does not block. When you're doing Ajax request, it does not block. That is what is an asynchronous communication. But as soon as you get the data, you try to re-render the specific part, right? Let's say I select a country in the drop-down. I'm sending an Ajax request to load the state for a specific country, right? So your page or it's not blocked upon when you send an AJAX request. It's not blocked. You could do whatever you want to do, and then whenever we get the response back, that we reload or re-render. The more word that we use is re-render. When we load the entire page, we use the word reload. But when you're doing only for a specific component, we re-render the specific component when we get the response back, but nothing is blocked over there. Manoj, are you clear?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that one.
You're thinking on how it exactly works when you do an AJAX request. Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking the answer you gave and some of I read. I was thinking about that. That's.
I mean, nothing is taught upon AJAX request to my knowledge. I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong, but to my knowledge, it is not blocked upon an AJAX request.
Okay.
And I think you all know AJAX request is through JavaScript, right? Asynchronous is through JavaScript. If your browser disables JavaScript, the AJAX doesn't work. Any question, Manoj?
Nothing. That's it.
See, to give you a single answer, it does not lock your browser. It does not lock your browser. AJAX request, it does not block your browser, right?
And, I was not expecting any particular answer. I was just discussing to get some.
No. No, it's not. I'm not saying to just give your answer. To just tell it, means we talk about asynchronous when it's not blocking something, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That is the reason I'm saying it. It does not lock your browser, so it's an asynchronous request. The user can still, work something before we get a response for the AJAX request. Folks, as I mentioned, JMS is a specification, and we have multiple vendors who actually provide the implementation part of it. The popular things in market are ActiveMQ, IBM, and RabbitMQ. ActiveMQ is free to use. It's open source, but IBM-MQ, which is popularly used, we have to pay for it. So the Java code that we write with this specification is still going to be the same irrespective of the underlying implementation vendor. So the JMS specification stands for portability across multiple JMS providers. These are JMS providers. Whatever these vendors you see here, like ActiveMQ, IBM-MQ, and RabbitMQ, these are JMS providers. JMS is a specification, and these are multiple providers for that specification. So when we use JMS, right, it's the communication that we do, or that we get through the JMS specification is not only loosely coupled, it is asynchronous, and the provider, it can deliver messages when the client becomes up. As in, right, a client is just configured for the delivery of a message, it's just sound, but as soon as the client comes up, the JMS is efficient enough to deliver those messages, and very, very important thing, it's more reliable. As in, it ensures that a message will be delivered only once. Why do only once is more significant, right? Let's say we have a message that's to put, the iPad Air came into market. So the previous version of iPad, let's say iPad Mini or iPad 2, right? There is a message which tells
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on Kudzu.com and on our website h2kinfosys.com. On our website h2kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.